Hey everyone, welcome back to the Famiboards Discussion Club, a podcast for and by the Famiboards community. Today we're going to be discussing Donkey Kong Bananza, and it is bananas.
Yes, it is.
If you'd like to join in on discussion of this podcast, be sure to check our companion thread on famiboards.com. So for today, I am once again joined by Irene
Hello.
and VolcanicDynamo.
It's nice to know that Donkey Kong and I have a common trait. When we both see a banana and we voraciously want to eat it, we both go, "Oh, banana."
Banana.
Bananas.
Yeah. Especially with molten chocolate on top of it. That's yummy stuff.
All right. Except when it's hot, then you don't want to get into it. But
Yeah, that's true.
all right, so this is a huge game. There's a lot to talk about it, but before we get into Donkey Kong Bonanza, let's just check in, talk about what we've been playing, if that's good with all of you. So yeah, what have all you been playing?
Okay, I want to go first on this one because I have something incredible to talk about.
Sure.
About it.
All right, so this one actually goes to WestEgg specifically because
Boy.
I did it. I've started a new file in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I am surprised and shocked because I'm enjoying it so much more now. I wrote about it on an LTTP thread on Famiboards, but essentially, I bought Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in like 2022. That's 3 years ago. And over the course of these 3 years, I've been picking it up, playing an hour, going screw this, putting it down, waiting 1 month, and I keep giving it chances. I keep putting it down because I'm not vibing with it. I'm not gelling with it. I'm like, just not feeling it. And I've been giving all of these chances for the past 3 years. And then I hear people talking about it. People are just like, oh, the ending is so good. Wait till you get to the ending. The finale is amazing. You got to see the finale. And I was like, do I have to? I hate this. And then I was like, okay, I'm in backlog ticking off mode. So I'm going to tick off Xenoblade 2 on the backlog and be done with it. And I pulled a 15-hour marathon to finish it off once and for all. And first of all, I absolutely hated it at first because I was like, everything that I disliked about Xenoblade 2 happened. I was like, the field skills, I had to grind. I had to grind up trust points to unlock affinity, whatever. And so that whole thing was like really aggravating to me. And but then I came to the finale. Then I came to the world tree, the exposition when you finally meet the architect, and gonna stop myself from spoiling here, but what a finale! What an absolutely phenomenal finale that was. Everyone who says that Xenoblade 2 has an amazing final act is dead accurate. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't want to turn this necessarily into the Xenoblade 2 podcast because I absolutely could.
Yeah.
But everything from about the second half of chapter 6 through the ending is just like, that's when it gets on. That's just when like it arrives at the airport, gets on a plane, and then the plane goes into space.
Yes,
like as far as how like the heights it reaches, it's ridiculous. And yeah, you said you're starting a new game plus, right?
Not New Game Plus, but a new file altogether.
Oh, new file. Okay, so yeah, I think I'd said this in the thread, just about some like replay things to watch for. Watch for things Nia reacts to specifically in the early game. Like stuff gets foreshadowed as early as like the second and third chapter.
Yeah, because I've noticed that I'm shocked by it, but I'm actually enjoying it much more that I have the proper, first of all, the proper context of what's happening, but also like the proper attachment to the characters, because I was not feeling that for like the first 40 hours. I was like, I don't care about these characters. I'm sorry, but I don't. And then in the finale, I was like, this is an amazing cast of characters in an RPG, and I love it. And now that I have that initial affection for the characters, I'm like, I must protect Pyra, and I must protect Mia. They're my girls.
Yes.
You know, so it's and I'm just been soaking in the vibes. It has great vibes, great towns. Oh my god, the Torrigoth town, the first major town to go to. That's where I am right now in my new file, and I've just been coasting on the vibes and just really looking forward into digging into this new playthrough and see if maybe I will end up liking this game much more than what I initially did, even if I really liked the final act.
Okay, that makes me really happy. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Volcanic, what have you been playing?
So before Donkey Kong Bonanza came out, I was mostly mainlining a lot of Mario Kart World.
Hmm.
Ooh.
I've been doing so I've done it's a combination of both a lot of the stuff I was doing in the open world and also just doing a lot of like multiplayer, specifically with online with friends.
Hmm.
And I'm still trying to think in terms of my final opinions how I feel about World versus how I feel about 8, because in many regards they are just two very different games with different design philosophies.
Hmm.
But Mario Kart World was worth it. And I
Yes.
can t and I can definitively say that because I have the physical cartridge. I paid $80 and I really like it. I really no, I really I've had such a good time just like not just doing the races, but like going out into the open world and really just treating it like an open like road trip, you know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Just
exactly, exactly.
vibing,
Yeah,
driving
vibing,
off, going to
vibing. Yeah.
location. If you see a P-switch, go for it. Get into a pretty costume, take a pretty picture. I have so many pictures. I love the photo. I love the photo mode. Right now, my phone background is like 6 or 7 like rotating pictures from Mario Kart's photo mode, and I love it. I adore. I'm so glad with what they do with it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
the big thing that's gonna keep me that sort of like makes me wonder about like the stuff with Mario Kart, specifically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is because my opinion is that I do think that base Mario Kart World is a better game than base Mario Kart 8. It's like that 2014 Wii U release. Things that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they've added so much to it over time. Deluxe added, they had the 2 DLC packs in the Wii U. They added the expanded battle mode because Wii U battle mode was not good. They had they added the booster course, passive course, the extra characters, and that really gave it the feeling of this game feeling so complete, right? Meanwhile, there are a few like minor issues that I have with World. The fact that, it's kind of hard to 100% the open world because they don't really let you track it. They don't really let you track things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, honestly wanting more characters, more NPC drivers, more costumes because the costume balance for characters is a little off-sided. Including a familiar pair we'll be talking a little bit more about today. Um, but I also have just really loved the vibes. The soundtrack is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to reiterate too much from what we were talking about last podcast, but a lot of my feelings from that last podcast, especially now that when I've continued to put more time into it, still persist. And yeah, a great launch title, but I'm also glad we have the big single player game now, which has been
Yeah.
the other thing I've been putting a lot of time into. But we'll talk about that a little later.
Sure. And just a quick thought on Mario Kart World. Do you think
Sure.
that when they do DLC and add new tracks, do you think they'll just like plop them into the existing continent, or they'll make like DLC Island that you can go to and it has like all the new world, the new tracks and stuff?
I'm thinking DLC Island. It's another continent that they could put a bridge there and you could drive to,
Hmm.
or even just like here's like a teleport. I kind of want them to like build a bridge there.
Hmm.
Heck, you could even like, I don't know,
Race on the
make it a
bridge.
stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
make it the Mushroom Bridge track from Double Dash.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
And that's one of them. And then you just have like 7 new courses on this one, and then that. And maybe something more Donkey Kong related because we need some more DK. We need some more DK
Yeah.
stuff. Drive the DK Island. Give us DK Island.
Yeah.
So, so when you're comparing it to 8 Deluxe, I do. This is something I'm really bad at, like finding or like filling out. But
Hmm.
on a really minute, detailed level, how do you feel the actual driving compares between 8 Deluxe and World?
I like the driving. I'm so used to the driving in 8 because I played it
Uh-huh.
for like
Okay, yeah,
11
makes sense.
years.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And and 8 was this game that really focused on having like these pitch perfect drifts. You kind of, all the courses were designed around it and all that. And drifting is a little bit heavier in
Yeah.
World. It's a the whole game is just bouncier in general, and that was a bit of a learning curve. I think if we're just talking the drifting on its own, that's more of a preference deal. You might like the drift more, you might like drifting less, because the game places a little bit less emphasis on it in general. But the variety of moves you can pull off with the wall running,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and all of the Tony Hawk X tricks that you can do
Yes, I
really
love
make
that.
this game so different and exciting that I think the pure minute to minute gameplay of World is more interesting than Deluxe. And I think it also uses its other gimmicks a little bit more interestingly. Like hang gliding was good, but was an interesting mechanic. But water and anti-gravity, they did have slight differences in the mechanics, but it was primarily a way to have new track design. Oh, here's track design. This is loop-de-loops. This is tracks where you go under the water and dive in. I think that the the wave race-esque wave riding mechanics, even if I can sometimes find it to be a pain in the rear end, is the more interesting and varied gameplay thing that also helps to facilitate stuff in the open world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think the way the flying mechanics where you can do the tricks in the air to reorient yourself is really nice as well. So I think on a moment to moment mechanics basis, I think there is more interest in intrigue in World because they chose to do more with it. And it's a nice balance in that it doesn't feel like you have to do every single one of those new mechanics just to enjoy the game. But if you can do them, you can get a lot more out of it. It's really nice.
I've never been able to wrap my head around wall grinding actually.
I can, but it's more kind of just like a bonus. Like it's yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
As far as what I've been playing, I've kind of been juggling a few things. I'll go from least exciting to most exciting.
Okay.
New college football came out. I've been playing that. I like it. But when I was in Japan, I picked up Tokimeki Memorial for Switch, so I've kind of been trying to play that too.
Oh, that's cool.
And the way I've been playing that is I've been like pulling up just like Google Translate, holding my phone up, getting like the live translation,
Oh my
and
god,
then like
yes.
just like every time the text changes. And there's certain things like the main menu and whatnot you kind of just get the feel for after a while, but obviously all the dialogue I need to check. And I do agree that you still need the audio because there's tone and into it, like you have to be able to into it kind of the mood and stuff. But no, I've gone through like I think it goes for 3 in-game years. I've gone through the first year and I seem to be lined up pretty heavily with Artist Girlfriend. So I
Okay.
think that's the she's the one that I'll get that ending. But yeah, I'm kind of slow working my way through that. But probably the main game I've been. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just about to say that that's very interesting because I also been to Japan and bought some games,
Uh-huh.
and so that's actually a very good tip because I've been thinking about like I bought Doshin the Giant Japanese because I have a free
Ooh.
loaded disc for GameCube, and I've been thinking about like trying to play it as best as I can without understanding the text. But that's actually a really good tip to use a live translator tool.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. But the most interesting game I'm playing right now, aside from Donkey Kong Bonanza,
Say.
is Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I'm playing through that right
Yes!
now.
Mm.
Awesome, awesome,
I-
awesome.
I'm midway through Act 2. I'm
Yeah.
basically keeping it fairly spoiler free. I'm we're traveling around 2 islands to fight the big things to build a weapon to progress the plot.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so like currently I'm just like theory crafting so much about what's going on because I'm like, no, nothing's what it seems.
Yeah, yeah,
Act
yeah.
two, main character, he knows stuff. I know he knows stuff. And it's like, and then he talks to big teddy bear friend, and I'm like, together they know things, and I want to know what they know. But oh no, it's really good. It's it's parry the game, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, totally.
Like there was a thread on Famiboards where it's just like rename a game you're playing, and I'd call that one. It's like 10,000 moves, and all you need is a parry.
Yeah,
But
but
I mean,
the
how obscure can this game be it's something of Expedition 33, but if you only need one parry, maybe they should have just called it one parry.
oh, you need many parries, but
Yeah, yeah.
you just need that
33
parry.
parries?
Yeah.
There's one
Look at this-
boss like I did recently where you have to do like 10 parries in a row just to get the
Yeah.
counter attack, and that was just like,
That's incredible.
oh.
That's
And I think
incredible.
Is the game still fun even though they've nerfed Stendhal? Sorry, have you gotten Stendhal, which is a skill for Mile?
no, I don't think I've gotten that yet.
Okay, Stendhal was the most broken shit in the game, where people could do like these super intricate builds with Mile, so they can dish out like 2 billion damage and one-shot bonus bosses. It was hilarious, but unfortunately they nerfed it. Rip.
I've been curious about that because I had been under the impression maybe I haven't unlocked the skill or the plot progression to do it, but it seemed damage was capped at like 9,099, and or at least maybe that's just the cap of certain attacks because my current main damage deal. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you will progress to more damage later.
Okay, that makes sense because my main damage dealer right now is CL.
Yeah,
And
CL can really. I love how broken this game, or how much you can break this game. It's so cool how you can like stack up stuff and just like bam, 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 annihilate everything in front of you. It's such a power trip.
yeah, so like my current party setup is male Act 2 main character
Yeah.
and CL, and I because two of them are for plot reasons because I'm like you two are clearly the more important characters.
Yeah.
And then I just really like CL, so sorry Lune, but and I also got the other character,
Yeah,
but
yeah, okay.
and I like that character, and I like the dynamic that character has with Act 2 character, but
Yeah.
no, Expedition 33 is really good so far, and I fully agree with the stance that Game of the Year is probably between Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. So, speaking of Donkey Kong Bonanza, we actually have one thing to talk about before Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes, we do. So, people who tuned in for Donkey Kong Bananza talk, hold on just a little bit longer. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Don't go too bananas while we wait, okay?
So, we're kind of down to the wire on this podcast if it was going to be the Bonanza podcast or the Direct podcast, depending on if the Direct happened. And the Direct didn't happen, but now we're getting a lot of hints that it is happening next week. So just before we get into the Bonanza discussion, any last minute thoughts on like predictions? What do you think we'll see in a potential Direct next week?
If there are 40th anniversary plans for Mario, we are going to see them. It's coming down to the wire with the actual 40th anniversary date, which is September 13th, and I feel like Nintendo is going to do even a little something, even a little. At this point, I don't have super high expectations, though I would love Mario Maker 3 to be the holiday game.
Oh my god, yes.
Give me my mouse con, give me a Wonder theme, give me a bunch more features in another mode. That would be a really great way to do the 40th anniversary, because Mario Maker 1 was the 30th anniversary game.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't need a big 3D Mario game. EPD8 just worked on peak over here. So love you, Steve. So we don't need, so obviously that team's going to be busy, and we just got Mario Wonder. So unless they're cooking up like a Nintendo Switch 2 edition with like DLC, which they could, I'd buy it. But unless they're doing that, I think that would be a great thing to announce for that. Also take 3D All-Stars Nintendo Switch 2 edition with Galaxy 2, but that's not here nor there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're going to get at least one Mario announcement in regards to for the end of, it's going to be for the end of this year or near the beginning of 2026. That's going to be done to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
I think and this ties into the question. Should we ask Josh's question?
Yeah, I think so. So, Josh had just asked us, do we think that they're going to tease? We'll get one good tease for the 2026 releases.
I'm gonna say maybe just one. Though I
Yeah.
do think we're going to get updates on at least one of Tomodachi Life or Rhythm Heaven. I think
That's
at
fair.
least, yeah, because Rhythm Heaven is probably going to be a bit more niche. Tomodachi Life is going to be a massive seller.
Yeah.
Tomodachi Life was like the 11th most popular 3DS game, and even Metopia sold pretty decently well.
Hmm.
So I think we at least get updates on that. But I think we do. But given that 2020, unless they have a really packed 2025, it's kind of inevitable that we'll have to get some 2026 announcement. At this point, it might not even be for like a new game. It could just be like an existing game because Splatoon Raiders still
Hmm.
hasn't been dated yet, and that could be like, oh, this is coming out early 2026. Before year one of the system ends, but like not beat by the holidays because we still have Prime, we still have Pokemon Legends CA. Maybe there's a hidden Mario project somewhere, right? If they could do Splatoon Raiders this year, that'd be great. But I have a feeling that game might be early 2026. And then a 2026, that's like what? We have what? Splatoon Raiders, um, Tomodachi Life Rhythm Heaven, um, and then maybe some Mario project to tie into the movie. That'd be okay. But I don't think we're gonna get a 2026 Mario announcement unless it's
No.
just for the 30. Unless it's just for the 40th. I don't think we're going to get an announcement for that. I think it's just gonna be an update for a game that we already know, or like one late 2026 tease. I totally forgot the Dust Bloods coming out next year too. Yeah, 2026 is gonna be pretty good already
Yeah.
for
It's
Nintendo. I
stacking
like
up.
it.
It's stacking up. It is.
Any predictions, Irene?
Um. I mean, 3D Zelda, and
3D Zelda.
yeah, because I was banking on it for the Switch 2 Direct, but I think it's getting more and more likely with each Direct we're progressing, and I think it's going to be extremely likely. If it's not as 3D Zelda this year, then it's definitely going to be next year. I mean, as a premiere of it. But I'm holding on to the argument that they are okay. Maybe with the Switch 2 Direct, there was the situation that okay, they need to sell this thing. They need to go out swinging and show everyone is here. Here's as many reasons to buy a Switch 2 that we can possibly muster. And I think that holds true because Age of Imprisonment is going to be like this year's. I don't think it's this year. It's going to be a winter 2025 game. But I do think that, I mean, there's going to be a 2026 game. I'm sure of it. It is a hard pattern that the 2026 game, like, often or if not always shows up in either the summer direct or the fall direct. And what I think is that they are still in the period of needing to sell as many units as they can aim for. And even though the Switch 2 is doing well at the moment, and will probably keep doing well in the immediate future, they still, I think that there's still these, I still believe that there's still so much to win from just showing all cards right now, as many cards as possible. So that's like how I'm trying to take my hopes and dreams and injecting a shred of logic into them. That's maybe it is because this and this and this and this and this. But yeah, I'm getting more and more confident about it. There could be a 3D Zelda waiting in line soon.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we get 3D Zelda before 3D Mario. I mean, obviously the Donkey Kong kind of potentially throws a wrench into that, but or even 2D
Yeah.
Mario, but
It
My
is
expectation again, if we
okay.
get 2D Mario, I think it is gonna be. You go, Irene. You go.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to briefly inject. I just came up. Obviously, 3D Zelda is like injected into my hopes and dreams, but I also want to throw out two more potentials, and that
Sure.
is Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion. Might be a potential for me. Yeah.
Those are good picks because it's been so long
Yeah.
since we got Animal Crossing. If you really think about it, that was a 2020 release.
Yeah, Next Level's last game was the Strikers 2, right?
And that was
Or whatever.
and Strikers 3 and the Strikers games in particular, that one are always pretty low scope. So I
Mhm.
could see like a 2026 Luigi's Mansion or Animal Crossing. I
Yeah.
don't think we get both. I don't think
No,
we get
not both.
both.
No, both.
Right. But I think I could see either one. Honestly, my gut feeling is going to be Luigi's Mansion because we're getting Tomodachi Life next year. And I don't know if they want to do Tomodachi and Animal Crossing in the same calendar year.
That makes sense.
Mm.
That's my gut feeling, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. You know, we could just have two of those together, but that's my gut feeling. That is my gut feeling.
Okay, that's fair. And as far like I'll keep mine pretty brief because I really only have two thoughts as far as what we could see in a direct.
Mhm.
The first one is ports. Will we're gonna get friggin' Persona 3 Reload. We're gonna get Metaphor ReFantazio. We might get
Yes,
Expedition 33. I think like all of those. I think a lot of those are in the pipeline and are coming. So
Technically,
that
Mindy, but can we get Blueprints on Switch too?
Blueprints would be
Blueprints-
great.
Blueprints is
That
a
with the mouse?
perfect. It's a perfect Switch game. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and that with like the mouse con.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, gang, please port that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so first prediction, lots of ports. Second prediction is going to be that 26 game that Josh asked about. They're going to want to tease their big first half 2026 game. And I'm pointing to the stands, calling my shot right now. Fire Emblem Echoes Genealogy of the Holy War.
You know what's funny? When you were about to say, right before you said that, the image of the Fire Emblem 4 remake literally popped in my brain. It's like, huh, no, we didn't mention it, and then you literally mentioned it.
Yeah. No,
Incredible,
it's
great idea.
it's supposedly been in like in the chamber forever. Like I'm sure it's probably gotten some Switch 2 enhancements, although it could be a cross-gen game, we'll see. But yeah, that's what I think is going. I think that's a perfect like non-holiday but big tentpole release for kind of like the slower season. New Fire Emblem. They kind of it was Three Houses was also a summer game, I think July or whatever.
Yeah, in July,
So yeah, that's my big prediction for the direct. We'll finally see the Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remake.
So do you think it's gonna be like a really big budget remake in the same like production values as Three Houses, if not more?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so too.
All right. Are we finally ready to talk about Donkey Kong?
We are.
Okay. So just some quick notes before we really dive into it. We're gonna have a spoiler section, and a spoiler-free section. Then we'll have a spoiler section. So this first part, I'm thinking we probably just talk about things that were shown in the marketing reveals, which is kind of material up to about layer 600, I'd say.
Which is the forest layer.
And then yeah. And then we might get into some spicy spoilers. And since VolcanicDynamo has not finished the game, we may be bidding her farewell for that section.
Gang, I put like almost 20 hours into this game already, and I'm still only on Sublayer 900.
Mhm.
Oh my god, this game is so dense. I love
Are
it.
you
really
like
is.
are you like getting everything in every layer?
I am, because the game
Props.
I don't want to like go too much into the discussion yet, because we'll get to the general thoughts, but like
Yeah.
really well structured for it. All right, let's get into the full discussion though.
Okay, so this was the big first party reveal during the Switch presentation. This
Yeah.
was what Nintendo put on the table and was like, here's our big game. So what was kind of your hype going into the game, like kind of in the lead up and then like at launch?
For me, I was of two minds. On the one hand, this was not the big 3D Mario I was expecting at launch. On the other hand, this was so clearly and obviously the work of EP8, the Tokyo development team behind the 3D Mario games. That was like, oh no, this game is going to be amazing. I have zero doubt in my mind that EPD8 couldn't take couldn't take Donkey Kong again technically because their first game was Jungle Beat back in 2004, 2005. It's been like 20 years, right? But like take that and truly make it into an amazing experience. Needless to say, they've proven me right, but I had zero doubt in them and zero doubt in the quality of the coming game. Even if it wasn't what I was expecting, EPD8 are the masters of giving me what I didn't necessarily know I wanted and just making it so incredible. So that was me. I tried not to consume too much like pre-launch content. I watched the stuff from the direct. I read the interview, but after that I was like, okay, I'm going to wait until the game comes out to focus on it, and here we are.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was in a similar boat where I was like, to me it was like I don't have that much of an affinity with Donkey Kong initially. Like I obviously I played Donkey Kong 64 during my childhood. I thought it was a great game, but I don't have that deep-rooted nostalgia from Donkey Kong Country or something, and I skipped out of Tropical Freeze when that released and missed the hype cycle around that. So for me, it was all about the pedigree of EPD Tokyo, because they have one of the most kill streak track records in all of gaming. Like they started off like, oh, Jungle Beat, promising studio, then they were like, bam, Galaxy, bam, Galaxy 2, bam, Odyssey, and just like they did some more games too. That's true. Sorry. Did they do 3D World?
They did, yeah, they did 3D Land
Yeah.
and 3D World. They've done
Yeah.
every 3D Mario since Galaxy.
Only bangers. Only bangers.
Only bangers.
Only bangers.
Only bangers.
Only bangers. And I was like, yeah, so if Tokyo is going to make a 3D Donkey Kong game, that is going to be like, there's no way that this is like not another banger, because there's just like certain, it's like being a Metallica fan in the 80s and they're putting out a new album and you listen to it and it's, of course it's a masterpiece. Of course it's a masterpiece. It's Metallica at the prime of their career, you know, in my opinion. But then it was like, just seeing it, I was like, okay, here's another EPD Tokyo banger, but also showing off in the initial reveal trailer the terraforming. And I was like, this is one of the most brilliant game mechanic hooks I've seen in recent memory, and EPD Tokyo is taking that and applying their unbelievable levels of care, craft, and polish upon this amazing brilliant core mechanic that they invented. I was like, this is going to be, I'm not a Donkey Kong girl by any means, but I think this might be my goatee. And I was like, and now I roll the credits and I am sitting there in stunned disbelief, and I'm saying it right here, right now, as of now, and unless Prime 4 is doing something, as of now, this is my goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I haven't beaten the game, but it's gonna be hard to beat this. Go on,
It's
Wes.
going to be extremely hard to beat this.
I'll just say I think they did an excellent job marketing the game.
Oh yeah, they did.
They put it front and center with the direct to get the intrigue and everything, and it was just so different than what we had seen from Donkey Kong before. It was just like way more energetic. It was just like really like just wild seeing the stuff in that trailer to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think most people will agree the dedicated direct is kind of what really elevated this from being like, oh, new Donkey Kong game hype to like this has goat potential. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Such a good direct.
I think I've go ahead.
I'll put it this way. You know, there's been this sort of this trend that people think that Nintendo games have, which I think is a little overblown, where it's like, oh, the first trailer is good, but that second trailer is really what blows people away.
Yeah.
Like, to an extent, I do feel like that's a bit of an exaggeration. I don't think every Nintendo game really follows under that trap. except for EPD8 games, which is where the trend
Yes.
came from. That
Yeah.
trend came from 3D World, and all of their big games have followed that. 3D
Yes.
World, had the second trailer, just showed the double cherry. Odyssey had the trailer that showed off the capture mechanic, and DK Bonanza, it had the direct, which showed off the we got the Bonanza powers, we got Pauline, all of that. They're the ones who have truly mastered that mechanic. They are the mechanic, like this is a video game. No, they're
Trope
the
or
ones who
whatever,
have
yeah.
truly embraced that level of marketing.
Yeah, so I think I've talked about this in previous episodes, but the second the direct was the hat on the frog moment. It
Yeah,
was
it was.
it's what you're saying about where they show an initial reveal and you think you know what this game is built around. You think you know what the mechanic is. In Odyssey, it was you could throw your hat and move it around and stuff, and that opened up new platforming and also just kind of wild settings. So you're like, okay, and then you get to the second Odyssey trailer, and oh no, the capture mechanic's the actual thing. And this one, it was like, okay, the destructible terrain and just the idea of just 3D Donkey Kong being back in general, okay, that is intriguing. And then you get to this, and it's just like, oh no, you're actually with Pauline, and you can turn into animals and stuff. That was the hat on the frog moment. And
Absolutely,
uh,
yeah.
it just worked really well. And then just like I think Pauline being in the game took this game from being a good upcoming release that like you're like, okay, that's going to be like a new good entry in Donkey Kong, like Tropical Freeze numbers or whatever, to being like this is going to be an Odyssey-esque system spanning just must play title that's just going to be like relevant the entire duration of the Switch too.
Oh
She's
yeah,
very
exactly.
obviously, yeah, she's like very obviously like the heart and soul of the game.
Yeah, totally.
I'm very vibing with how much EPDA has taken Pauline and is like, she's ours now. We're gonna do whatever we're gonna do with her as we see fit, and
Mhm.
we're gonna make you love
Yes.
her.
They sure succeeded with that. They sure succeeded with that.
Oh, the sheer chaos of the Donkey Kong timeline. just just coming from a perspective of like being a longtime Zelda fan and being in that mess. And then just like and it's funny because like the Zelda timeline is just complicated because they're like we want to do different things and we want to have this grand sweeping epic, but it doesn't necessarily it's kind of messy. And then the Donkey Kong thing's just like yeah, but Pauline has to be small so she can be on Donkey Kong's back. And it's just like okay. And it's so good.
Yes, it really
Look,
is.
Mario's canonically time traveled at least twice in this franchise. Look, what's the sense of making this more confusing? Come on, it's okay. It's fine.
Spoilers for an almost 20-year-old game at this point, but Mario's entire universe was rebooted in Galaxy, so whatever, you could attribute anything from that.
Yes.
But okay, so as far as the game itself, like just kind of the gameplay loop, the progression, general thoughts, how do you like it?
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
banana. All
Oh,
right, to get
banana.
into a serious discussion, I think the initial reason why I ended up really liking this game, besides the fact that it's EBDA, and of course they can do no wrong, um, there is a lot of Mario Odyssey DNA in the basic structure of this game,
yeah.
right? A lot of it.
Yeah.
Half of this game feels like the Odyssey 2 we never got, right? In other words, there's a very same sense of how the collectibles are structured and placed throughout the world. Worlds are I feel like they're paced in a pretty similar fashion, right? All of that is there, and I really liked that in Odyssey. I really liked the very rapid fire nature of, oh, find a boon collected. Oh, here's some regional coins. Oh, here's some platforming. Oh, here's a new mechanic you'll throw in and a new part of the area you're exploring, and you just get that. And I think Bonanza works with that really well, but does so in a way that doesn't just feel like, oh, this is Mario Odyssey again, but Donkey Kong's here. They did such a good job of considering like Donkey Kong as like a character and built a really interesting set of worlds around like his strength, including the really satisfying terrain destruction mechanics and terrain mechanics in general. Because this game has been, because I'm a little further than the marketing has shown, but all of these new worlds do such a good job of introducing new terrain types that you can interact with that lead to brand new gameplay mechanics, let alone the new Bonanza powers that you get, which you could mix in and sort of explore with that, right? There's that sense of variety and new mechanics that the 3D Mario games do so well is front and center in Bonanza, and it's executed really, really well. I also think the game is structured really well for being able to like either just blast through and just try to beat it as fast as you can, but also really well structured for like 100%, even more so than Odyssey because of the inclusions and the easy collection of both the banana maps and the fossil maps. So probably the reason why I haven't finished the game while everyone else has, even though I put like almost 20 hours into it, is I'm 100%ing each layer as I
Uh-huh.
play through the game. And it's been, even though it's long, it's been really manageable.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so right now for context, I got this no spoilers, but I've gotten to the the Sublayer 900, and I have 420 bananas.
Okay.
Oh, dang.
So
If the ninth
yeah.
is what I think it is, do you have every Bonanza then?
No, I
Okay.
just started 9. I do not
Okay.
I have three of the insert number here. Bonanzas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, my thoughts on uh I think the main takeaway here is that what I think is so brilliant, so extremely brilliant on like a game design level is that it has these macro, middle, and micro dopamine, as I like to refer to. It has the macro level of dopamine, which is like the kicks you get from just like exploring, just like coming to a new
Mhm.
sublayer, seeing the cool view. That happens like once every 5 minutes or something. And then there's the middle layer of dopamine, which is every time you get a collectible, every time you get a banana or a fossil, which happens like every minute or every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes. Like it comes in these like even successions of like hits of like yes collectible, yes collectible, yes collectible. Then you have the micro dopamine, which is the destruction in and of itself, where you're hitting that high of like destruction and gold collecting, and you're hitting it every single second. So they created this amazing game structure where it's so fun to just like walk around and explore, but the actual moment to moment gameplay where it's like this I remember the Halo designer was like, oh, Halo is all about 30 seconds of fun, and Donkey Kong Bananza is like 30 milliseconds of fun, where like everything is always fun all the time, just like digging and getting the gold. And with the gold it feels so cool because the gold makes it feel like every single digging is worth it, like you're finding gold all
Mhm.
the time, and it's just the tactility of it. It's brilliant. I just love it so much to just dig and smash and dig and smash. It's so like primitive in a way, but it is this really like basic thing that is just fun to do. And
Mhm.
and I just love just mashing it and picking up chunks and mashing with chunks and throwing chunks, and I could do it like I have had play sessions where I just like smash, and that is not to mention on a technical level, like the voxel
Oh yeah.
technology of the voxel stuff, where they've somehow built the world with like millions and millions of tiny particles that makes up the levels, and this technology makes it possible to create these like intricate destruction levels that you do. And it's just like so mind-blowing. If you do that on like, I don't know, Unreal Engine 4 on an RTX 4070, your computer is gonna implode because it's so complex, but the Switch 2 is like piece of cake. And um, to me, that's just Yeah, that's my main takeaway, that it's so millisecond fun of like every moment to moment thing feels so satisfying. And final shout out to just the map. Like the map is so cool, and that the map shows the destruction in real time. That is like mind blowing to me. That's, you can just pick up the map and see somewhere where your fossil maps are pointing out the fossils, and heading over there, and you see on the map where you have been because it shows the destruction. And yeah, I this is just like such a joyous experience from start to finish, where every single thing you do is fun.
And honestly, it feels so fitting because, like, I think that just it's such a natural extension of EPD8's design philosophy that we
Yeah.
especially saw in Odyssey. But like, even going back to like the 2D games, I mean, not the 2D games, like the 3D Land and 3D World, where they were very bite-sized levels that were meant to feel where you're doing a lot of platforming, and oh, here's the green star missions, and there you go, and then you do it, and it feels like they've refined this design philosophy further and further and further, and have continued to make collecting stuff, and even just the basic act of moving around
Yeah.
feels so good. Like, this isn't like the Mario levels of acrobatics, but Donkey Kong still feels so great to control at a moment to moment. So even when you're like not just destroying stuff, just even doing something as simple as doing a roll into a jump into another roll in the air feels so incredible. I
Yes.
love the small. They know the perfect game feel is what we're talking about here, and I love it.
Okay, so I have a question that I'd actually thought about making a thread this discussion point, but I figured it might just be better to actually discuss it.
Yeah.
Um, do you consider this game a platformer?
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting actually, because sometimes there's not much actual jumping and platform. Oh, jumping there is, but Donkey Kong can climb everywhere, and the challenge in the game is like smashing stuff, and the what you do in the challenge levels where you play around with the materials and try to find stuff like that. But the
Yeah,
actual jumping, yeah, good point.
it's yeah, because normally like traversal is the main mechanic of platformers. Normally like jumping, or sometimes there's like some other mechanic. But I would argue that punching is the main verb of Bonanza, which is more in
Uh,
line with like a brawler.
yeah,
I
It's I
feel
don't know.
like
It's just kind
I
of an interesting thought I had.
I
yeah,
feel
totally.
like I feel like this is Donkey Kong Bonanza is still a platformer, but it is more of an action platformer than the Mario games are, because it
Mhm.
splits the difference more between action, like combat, and not really combat, but like that physicality of Donkey Kong and busting up the train with movement. Movement is still very core to the play of Donkey Kong Bonanza, whether you're climbing up stuff, or doing literal platforming, because there's a lot of the challenge rooms, a lot of that stuff where the main mechanic is still jumping around and moving in that regard. So I would still consider this under the platform game umbrella. I just think it is more of an action game. And like, I'll give a good, like, Kirby. Kirby is effectively a beat 'em up in many regards, but it is still a platformer, whether it's 2D or 3D. I think Donkey Kong it follows in much that same vein, where again, lot of using your fists. I do think punch is. I can agree with what you say in that punch is the main verb over jump, but I still think jumping and movement is significant enough
Sure.
that I'd like to say that this is like the main mechanic. It is still one of the main mechanics. I think this is still a platformer.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it was just kind of an interesting thought. I was just like, see what people think of that.
yeah.
Um,
You can make the argument that platforming is not just about jumping; it's about movement in general.
that's very true.
Is this how you're going to convince me that Snake Pass is a platform even though you can't jump?
Oh, like way back on
Snake Pass.
way back on previous internet forums, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I worked on a platformer like ranking list, and I actually had put forth Snake Pass as one of my votes because I do argue that it is a platformer that's non-jump based. But anyway, that's besides the point.
My thing with Snake Pass is not that it's not a platformer, it's that it is a pain in the rear end to fucking play.
I liked Snake Pass.
Yeah,
All right.
So
Sorry,
just a final note on the subject. Then you can also make the argument that Captain Toad is Captain Toad a platformer or a puzzle game?
I would say it's a puzzle game, honestly, but anyway.
Yeah, I'll move on.
Okay. So as far as just like how this game's set up, structured, the gameplay, and like the new design they gave Donkey Kong, do you think it's a good template for Donkey Kong forward?
I want to say yes, but I think EPD8 is the masters of like surprising me rather than just doing what I expect. So I would gladly say yes, but I mostly just want EPD8 to keep surprising me with whatever brilliant ideas they have next, because I think that's what's going to be like the truly interesting stuff. It's whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I think that the new Donkey Kong design is here to stay. It's already in the movie. It's already in Mario Kart. Like this is Donkey Kong. This is what he looks like now.
Yes.
As far as kind of like the weird vibe of this game, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. I wonder if that's going to kind of just become how Donkey Kong feels going forward. Like, I don't think that, I think there are going to be things that are unique to this game. I don't think, like, Pauline and the Bonanzas are going to come back in the next Donkey Kong title unless unless it's, like, explicitly a Bonanza 2. But, yeah, like, I do think that they'll probably try to keep this kind of, like, weird, almost edginess to it.
Yeah, that might be it. My thoughts about that is that I do love this game so much, but I also wonder if this type of game, like it was done before in Odyssey because it's a very similar style of pseudo-open platformer, but I think it's a two-trick pony. Do you know what I mean? Like it has been done in Odyssey, it has been done in Bonanza. I don't think you can pull off this kind of open-ish structure like a third time and make it feel as fresh. So I think we're getting the next... There is going to be a next 3D Donkey Kong, of course. But I think we might get like maybe a different kind of 3D. Because I also think that this game is like pretty much perfect at what it does. So I would not really be down for a Bonanza 2 because I just don't think you can possibly top Bonanza with a... Maybe you can. I mean, they did top Galaxy with Galaxy 2, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm very happy with the Donkey Kong direction, and like I'm optimistic about the future of Donkey Kong as an IP. But I think Bonanza, what Bonanza is doing is like not something we're gonna see in the future. I think we're gonna see something totally different the next time.
Sure. All right, so we have some questions from Deco Returns. First one, Fractones. Why are they the best NPC?
Versatility.
They're rare characters.
Honestly, seeing the Fractones in the initial trailer was my first hint to be like, oh, this isn't Mario. This is probably Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
It was seeing those wacky ass rare eyes placed onto those rocks.
They also say rock on when they build something or remove debris from a special stage or build. Then they say rock on. That's such a simple thing that is adorable.
Yeah, you can also totally destroy them and they're fine.
Yes.
You can rip pieces off of them and throw them into the horizon and they just pop back on.
Yeah, and that's even used as an intended mechanic in multiple locations.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Can't do that to a Zelda NPC.
It would be super side tangent. It would be hilarious if you could do that to the flower girl in Breath of the Wild and really piss her off.
I like it.
Oh my gosh.
So another question from Deco. How do you feel? This is Donkey Kong adjacent, but we can tie it into Bonanza. How do you feel about the Tropical Freeze boss fights? And then just kind of my own add on to that, how compared to the Bonanza boss fights?
So I've only played a little bit of Tropical Freeze, but I
Yeah,
know
same.
from returns that one of the things with Rare's boss fights is that they are really long and really drawn out. And if you lose in the middle of them, you kind of got to like restart the full fight or a good chunk of the fight, right? Is that accurate?
As far as like I don't think the like returns in the Tropical Freeze bosses are too egregious. And you can normally get like right back into the fight. So
So it's
and the
not
real
Sonic Superstars?
yeah.
God, fucking experience.
So I'm gonna I'll be honest up front. I kind of have some takes about the boss fights.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Fire
going
away.
Yeah.
in so going into first talking about Returns had some like serviceable boss fights. They weren't necessarily great. There were a few that were actually pretty, but they were for the most part serviceable. They were kind of just like SNES boss fights. I guess might be the best way to say it. Tropical Freeze was a big step up in the boss fights. I thought it had really good, like thematically appropriate boss fights, mechanically fun boss fights, climactic boss fights. Like I thought they really stepped up their game with that, and I really liked it. So props to Retro for that. Honestly, in Bonanza, I would say boss fights are kind of a weaker point of the game.
I
Yeah,
would
makes
agree.
sense. I agree too.
And
Uh, I
yeah,
think
sorry, go ahead.
no, finish first. No, you can finish first, boss. Sorry.
Not to get too spicy about it, but I think that's kind of a carryover from Odyssey as well. That I think Odyssey also kind of had some weaker boss fights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think Odyssey has better boss fights than Bonanza. And I think the reason for that is that most of the boss fights in Bonanza, at least up to sub level like 800, 900, which is about I want to say that's the halfway point of the game.
We'll have to see.
Well,
I
you'll see, you'll see.
As far as I know,
Mhm.
every single boss fight has not only been extremely easy, it has been over extremely quickly. And don't get me wrong, they do a decent job of showcasing like the mechanics, but they are so like even the ones that follow like the Mario style pattern of three effective little phases and
Mhm.
so quickly that it's almost too hard for me to like make much of a lasting impression on some of these boss fights, you know? Or I expect them to be a little bit longer, a little bit more drawn out. And granted, I do think some of this is because the game has upgradable health. If you
Mm.
want players to be able to like reasonably play this while doing like minimum upgrades, not doing your health stuff, that can be a little tricky. And I imagine that's at least one way to make them harder. But like I can transform into a Bonanza form, punch, 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 bam, punch, 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 bam, punch, 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 bam, and this is like and Odyssey did do this with like the brutal fights, but like for the main boss fights, it's feeling very I mean, it does communicate Donkey Kong's strengths, but it's probably the one downside I currently have about the game. It is that the boss fights in this first portion of the game are too short and too easy.
And also a little too many, I think. There's a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah. A little too many, maybe.
You tend to
I
get
don't
one like every sublayer or kind of close to that,
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit less than one
or level of
because
sublayer. Yeah.
like because I know Sublayer 200 didn't have a boss fight,
Mm.
Mm.
and then 100 did. And then 300 did, 500 and 600. At least
Yeah.
out of the so like not every floor has a fight, and and unlike Mario Odyssey, which has like more mini bosses, I don't think this game hasn't really been doing like the mini boss thing as much unless you count
Yeah.
the battle challenges, which I think is a better showcase of the game's combat. I will say at least that. The boss
That makes
fights are a
sense.
little simple in this first chunk, but the battle challenges do a satisfying job with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, boss fights, they're not bad boss fights. And I would prefer an easy a short and easy boss fight that lets me go to town over a long and that I can cut over a long drawn out boss fight that just takes forever. And if I screw up, you have to do good chunks of it again. I'm still traumatized by Sonic Superstars. I can't fucking believe that goddamn game. But it
So,
is one of the weaker aspects.
I agree.
like, I think this is true for most of the game, but in general, it's not the enemies that are dangerous and will kill you, it's the terrain.
Yeah, which I
And
think is personally fine.
I think the boss fights a bit later on get a little bit better because they start incorporating like more dangerous terrain and terrain control like into the fight.
Yeah,
But
I know the fight in 600 started to do that, and that
yeah.
was fun, but also still a little bit too short because after the first phase, I didn't need to consider the terrain anymore. I just skipped most of it and just did the quick beatdown. And I'm hoping that the later boss fights do that a little less.
Mhm. Though they kind of subscribe almost to the Ridley theory on boss fights, where basically just give them a health bar and don't do phases, and when they're dead, they're dead.
Yeah,
But
and with the Bonanzas, you can just tear these health bars apart so quickly. It's incredible, honestly.
it's satisfying, it's gratifying. At the end, like there's good spectacle behind a lot of them, so that's important. Like it's not just the mechanic difficulty of a boss fight that's important, but yeah, I just wish it was a little more engaging as far as the boss fights
Yeah,
go.
at least I don't want the fights to be drawn out, but if they were like a little bit, some of them were like a little bit longer, or maybe like think a little bit more about like having to like navigate the terrain, which again, from what you say, the later boss fights might be going in that direction.
Yeah.
Then I would be interested. Then I think we'll have something better. But right now, I think the boss fights in the first half of Mario Odyssey are better than the boss fights in the first half of Bonanza. Not enough that I would say that that Bonanza is like a significantly worse game, if worse at all. But that's my gut feeling. That's like my thought.
Okay. We have a question from Josh5890, which is what level do you think is down as the most iconic in the game? We can go as far as what you've played so far, non-in game.
Yeah, if we're talking about out of the first chunk of the game, I feel like the standout is going to be, I feel like a lot of people have said this. I feel like the first immediate standout is going to be SL300.
The Canyon one, right?
Yeah, the canyon layer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like a
that's
lot, I feel
my
like,
answer too.
yeah, I feel like that's when the game goes from like, oh, this is good to, oh yeah, this game knows what's up. Because I think unlike Odyssey, where it was like, okay, I think Odyssey started off like really strong right out of the gate with Cascade Kingdom and really embracing that. I think Bonanza has gotten better as I mean Odyssey did too, but I think that this game's immediate standout doesn't come until you get a few hours in, a few worlds. And from there it's been high ante. I'm very curious, and obviously no spoilers, to hear about the end game of Bonanza because from the little bits I've known of people talking about it, everyone's saying that the end game is like really strong. But I also think the end game of Odyssey was really strong too. I think that everything after Luncheon Kingdom into like that final act of the game was extremely good and extremely well paced. So to know that Bonanza's kind of doing that again gets me really excited. But obviously, no spoilers.
So I'll say this, and I won't spoil, but the like even the later worlds, but before you get to the end game, I'd say kind of escalate, and I like a little bit more than the previous ones. And just to say on record without elaboration, probably my favorite of those is called Feast Layer. So just look out for that when you get there.
Agreed,
Mm.
agreed, agreed.
I think I know what is it with these late game with these new EPD8 games and having like food areas, huh?
I don't know. Everyone loves food.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling as to which number it's going to be based off of how people have reacted, but I am not going to guess while we are here on stream.
Sure.
What what
And
I
then, sorry,
what
go
I
ahead.
will say about the layers though, also without going into spoilers, is that the farther you go down, the less the layers becomes defined biomes, and I love that.
Yeah, they definitely gotten, even now have gotten like more wacky and
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
wild. And I think that's something that is really tricky in a game. And I think this will tie into like a later question. No, I'll save this for a later question. I'll say this because we have a
Yeah.
question that's going to be related to this. We'll go on.
Okay. And then another question from Josh 5890. Did you like that only Pauline had actual voice line? It felt like something was missing. It's not getting proper voices. So what's your take on that?
Pretty
Pauline
neutrally
rules.
about it. Pauline rules. Pauline
Pauline
rules.
rules.
This is I would first off, Pauline should have her voice. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
question, of course, here is if everyone else should have voices, and I don't mind its implementation in Bonanza because I think especially when you're talking to all of the NPCs, you want Pauline to have the spoken voice because she gives all of the so much incidental and help dialogue that you want when she says like, "Oh, a banana." You want that to be, or "Oh, get that apple." You want that to be
Yeah.
like immediately noticeable and shit, right?
Mhm. I would agree.
So that's so I don't think you needed it, and I think it honestly does make the game easier to like localize.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That being
that's
said,
yeah.
I'd like to see EPD8 in like, I don't know, the next 3D Mario game or something. Try to tackle a mostly voice acted cast. I don't think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna stick to like most of the things just not having voices.
hmm
But I'm damn curious to see them try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like I didn't necessarily need like Void Kong to have like spoken English lines. I think like the muttering they give him does well enough. You get his you like and like really he's kind of the other character that's really that like I think that would potentially benefit from it. But yeah, like you only have to dub Pauline in every language. Like you don't have to dub everyone else. So
I
that simplifies the process. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I also think that it makes so much sense because Pauline's voice is like a plot point, you know.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely.
so of course she's voiced, and it's so brilliant to me that Pauline has the role that she has, because if the other characters are voiced, I don't know. I think this is like a Zelda situation where it has so much more charm to bump into an NPC. They go like it just fits so much better, and
Yeah, I would. Sorry, go ahead.
I just it's difficult for me to imagine because bad voice acting is something in games that can easily go wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's worth the risk in this kind of game to voice everything and have something be a little bit like off kilter or something. For me, it just made perfect sense that Pauline is voiced because of the role she plays in the story. And
Mm-hmm.
what I love about Pauline so much is that it gives such a fresh technique, no, not technique, a fresh identity to Donkey Kong, to have like this a plot element of a girl who wants to sing. And I remember when I was thinking about what the next 3D Donkey Kong would be like, I was thinking about DK rap, and that game would have like attitude and be like yeah, and the theme song would be another rap song, and then it's just like instead it's like sweet and really adorable to have like this young girl with you who's like wailing like wah, wah! And
Yeah,
it's so good.
no, I absolutely agreed. And it is just kind of a funny thought that in both this game and Odyssey, if you count the vocal traps, Pauline is the most extensively voiced character in both games.
Yes, it's so cool.
All right, so Sammy J9 asks, "What is the best Bonanza track?"
I'm torn between Kong Bonanza and Zebra Bonanza right now.
Both are good. I just like that the lyric of Zebra is zebra, zebra. I love that.
Zebra, zebra.
I love
So
that.
does any one of you do the thing where you activate the Bonanza, do the thing, and then just leave the Bonanza form on until it turns off because you want to dig because the songs go so hard.
Yeah, it's like if
Oh
you're
no,
if
that's
you,
when I do Kong Bonanza all the time.
yeah,
Yes.
you
I
may
do
as well
Kong
just
Bonanza and
roll.
I just dig and I go and I just listen to that freaking song and it empowers me so much to train and he's like da, da,
Yeah.
and it just what a rush. It was such a good call to have them voice acted and
Mhm.
sung.
Yeah.
Thank you thank you EPD8 development team for thinking, "Oh, we should no. We gotta have we gotta have them sing. We need that impact." Hey, can
Yeah.
we put Pauline in the game? That was so funny to read in the interview.
And what I also love about it is that, or what to answer the question, my favorite Bonanza song is one of the later Bonanza forms, actually.
So curious.
You're so curious, and I won't say anything. I'm sorry. But
Fair.
yeah, one of my favorite is one of the later ones, and I won't spoil it, but if you are a music producer and I say that the song does a really good use of the 808s, you will understand what I mean.
Interesting.
Okay.
So, for our last question of this section, Steve decided to choose violence and asked if Donkey Kong Bonanza is better than Mario Odyssey.
Something something peak peak hype moments in aura peak peak. I love you, Steve. I'm gonna beat you in Mario Kart next time. Anyway, I'm torn. I'm really, really torn. The thing you have to understand about me is that Mario Odyssey is not only my favorite 3D Mario game, it might be one of my favorite games ever.
Uh-huh.
Almost every element of Odyssey comes together like near perfectly for what it is trying to do. It has I like the score is great, the movement is phenomenal, the capture mechanic is stellar in its implementation as mixed in with the regular movement. They nailed the satisfaction of getting those moons. I do not agree with too many moons. Give me more moons. Give me more moons. Give me more moons. Right? It did such a pitch perfect way of selling itself as this globe-trotting world adventure, doing good amounts of world building, feeling so in love with and reverent towards the Mario franchise while still mostly feeling like, oh, we're pushing forward. We are doing its own thing. This is the big standout piece for the Switch system, even more than Breath of the Wild, which I love Breath of the Wild, but one, that was also a Wii U game. It's not an exclusive. Odyssey wasn't exclusive. And two, I'm always gonna prefer Mario over Zelda. That's just my preference. Donkey Kong is extremely close to that level of quality, and in some ways, it is exceeding it. EPD8 has learned a lot from Odyssey, and I think has implemented a lot of smart changes to the formula to make it sharper. Again, even something as simple as having the I think that the fossils over the regional coins were a better mechanic. I
Mm-hmm.
think they did a tasteful implementation of a skill tree. I love that the worlds have been escalating and doing all of the mechanics and stuff. It's a really strong experience. And if I were a Donkey Kong fan, I might if I were a Donkey Kong fan and had a connection to this franchise, there might be a world where I would easily say that Bonanza is better. I'm not there yet. I'm not
That's
there yet
fair.
because I think not only just my fondness for the franchises is different, but also I think at the end of the day, I love the terrain mechanics. I love that. I think I do prefer the more movement oriented focus of Mario, 3D Mario in general, over the terrain destruction of Donkey Kong Bonanza. But at this point, if we're really talking about sheer preference here, over like objective, oh, these are the factors of these games. Not that there is objective game opinions, of course, but like if that's where I'm at, I think that is a testament to the quality of Donkey Kong Bonanza. and a testament to how strong of a development team EPD8 is. They are, again, truly my favorite development team out of not just in Nintendo, but just in general. And it's going to be very, very hard for any other game released this year to be better to me than Donkey Kong Bonanza is. So it's difficult. It's difficult. I cannot in my heart of hearts say yet that Bonanza is better than Odyssey, but I think both of them are really close. And I'm so glad that that's what EPD8 was allowed to do with another franchise. I am so excited for whatever else EPD8 chooses to do next, regardless if it's the next 3D Mario game, if they want to do more Donkey Kong, if they want to do another like franchise. Give me whatever you want, because I think you're going to knock it out of the park every single time. I'm so excited for whatever they do next. So yeah, to answer the question, God, it's a hard decision.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do not have a hard decision at all. I think Donkey Kong Bananza eats Odyssey. It eats Odyssey for breakfast. And
you mean it eats it for a banana snack?
for a banana snack. No, I think it's clear for me personally. Of course, as Volcanic said, no such thing as objective video game opinions, which is pretty much true. But personally speaking, I think Donkey Kong Bananza is much better than Odyssey, actually by a pretty big margin. And I think I have a multitude of reasons to point towards. Odyssey, I think, has some really high highs, like the new Donk City Festival, obviously is an instant classic. And I think Toast Arena, the Sand Kingdom, was awesome too. I think Odyssey has some duds. I think Lake Kingdom was not very fun. The swimming wasn't very fun. Even with Sheep it wasn't very fun. Snow Kingdom worked as a racing interlude. I think the Lost Kingdom did something interesting with the story when the Odyssey was crashing. But I wasn't that big a fan of it. Bonanza is all killer no filler for me. Like, maybe it's because the moment-to-moment core mechanic is so much more fun to me. But I also think that every level is just, especially in the later game, every level is just amazing as a world to be in. I just, even like initial Lagoon Lagoon level layer, I was like, I love it here. I'm gonna run around and just have a blast punching through. And I just think that that's probably my main reason where Odyssey had some duds. I don't think Bonanza has any duds. I think Bonanza has the more fun core mechanic. And my final point is actually, I think Bonanza is more emotional in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because of Pauline, I'm assuming?
Yeah, because Odyssey to me was fun, and it was emotional to me because it was fun. And I was thinking about, I was, shedding tears during the New Donk City Festival because I was touched by how fun it was and how much of a celebration of Mario it was. In Bonanza does the very same thing where I'm like, I am touched by how fun I'm having because my heart is leaping with joy, but I'm also touched because it's such an adorable story about a girl who wants to sing. And that to me reaches for something within me where I feel like I can resonate with this story in a way that I couldn't quite resonate with Odyssey's story. And I think that's just really like the thing they've done with Pauline and have her singing be a core part of the narrative. The way that the game puts such a cool weight on a narrative. Odyssey does that too, of course, but I think Donkey Kong has a stronger way of doing that. And I think for that reason, I was just so much more engaged and touched by Bonanza. So I end up preferring it a whole lot more.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if Alf... No, actually, no. You have to say your thoughts first. You go first, and then I'll say it.
Okay, I'll keep it pretty condensed because a lot was kind of I agree with. I agree with kind of a lot of what Irene was saying, but Steve had kind of a follow-up question about where we'd rank it in the EPD8 question. I'm going to answer kind of both of these at the same time.
Uh-huh.
I really liked Odyssey. I liked 3D World a little bit more, and I would probably equate Donkey Kong Bonanza with Mario 3D World. That's probably how I would set that, and Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't really have much else to add. But yeah, that's kind of I really enjoy it. Like I love this. It's probably going to be my game of the year. But yeah.
To answer that question for me, I would flip around how I feel. I flip around how I feel about 3D World and 3D World and Odyssey. I think I like Odyssey. When I replay my replay of Odyssey solidified the fact that I liked Odyssey more than 3D World, even though I still really love 3D World. I would still put Bonanza near the top around where Odyssey is. Will it go higher or lower? I'm not sure yet. I think for me, it'll be right under it in that S tier, but not quite being number one. For the reasons I specified, I prefer the movement focus of the Mario games over DK. And I do think those boss fights are a factor. I do think that the boss fights in Bonanza on the whole, at least so far, have been worse than their Mario counterparts. And Mario, the boss fights, well, 3D Mario, starting with Galaxy, actually does make more interesting boss fights. I will say that. In terms of at least being like a good final exam of a mechanic or doing something that's interesting. I do think starting with Galaxy, we start to get interesting, like interesting Mario bosses, and I think Odyssey's bosses, honestly, were all like pretty enjoyable. I think that is still one weakness of Bonanza so far, at the very least in its first half. But I'm very excited to play through the rest of the game to see how people feel. Regardless, though, yeah, game of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. I got sent a special podcast question from friend of the podcast, Suspicious Wave Suswave.
Really? A bonus question?
Yeah, no, actually, really. This is not a joke.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go for it.
What was your favorite thing to punch?
Ooh.
Wood.
Ooh.
Wood.
That's pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
Would it be bad to say the Fractones? Every time.
That makes sense though.
My favorite thing to punch is not really a punch. I like how, and I discovered this like a couple days ago. When you punch a lot of the friendly NPCs, the punch turns into like a high five, and then Donkey Kong gives them a thumbs up. That is so fucking cute. That is adorable. I love that. Also, gold go boom.
Mm-hmm.
Gold go boom.
We also have a second question. Which Kong do you hope to see on your adventure, and why is it Butch Icon Funky Kong? God damn it!
I don't really want to get into spoilers about which Kongs may or may not appear.
Well, I mean, you could do that in the spoiler discussion that's coming up in just a moment.
Yeah, true.
Good. Okay, is this the part where we banish you from the island?
This is the part where you banish me from the island. But wait, gang, wait.
Sure.
No, you can't kick me off. You can't, because they have to reveal something. The final boss is Donkey Kong Bananza.
All right, so...
Wait, did she actually detach from the call?
Yeah, she's off the call.
She's off the call. Okay, goodbye.
Which is, okay, so everyone, we are going to start talking about spoilers from basically the beginning of the end game onward. So stop listening here, listen to it later, but stop listening here if you don't want to be spoiled. And that also means you Volcanic Dynamo if you're still listening.
If you're peeking.
Okay,
we need to do a count.
I'm peeking, sorry.
We need to do a countdown. Just
okay.
To say, spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1, off the charts.
Okay, yeah. Friggin' peak. Amazing.
Oh my
phenomenal
god.
End game.
Yes.
Holy crap. I'm sad that like Volcanic Dynamo didn't make it to be able to be part of this discussion because she's gonna flip out at the end game.
She
Holy
totally
crap.
Is. Oh my god. And yeah, to me, I was like, Donkey Kong Bananza is a great game, and felt that all the way through, and it came better and better. And now we can talk about the later layers. I just absolutely love when the layers became not a biome. Like, you came to the radiant layer, you come to the groove layer, and it's a music layer. And you can come to
Radiant layer, groove layer, and feast layer are so good.
Yeah, feast layer is a goddamn fast food amusement park. It's so and yeah, but for me, it's really peaked when you come to the forbidden layer, and you get this almost like Breath of the Wild, the Tears of the Kingdom feeling of awe and wonder when you step outside, and there's these like huge crystals and this ominous music of like, this is like this forbidden realm or forgotten realm. And it's from there on out, I was like, okay, this game is ascending beyond usual greatness. And I talked before about Bonanza being all killer, no filler. Now it's like all killer, all killer, all killer, no filler.
Okay, so first just the forbidden layer itself.
Yeah.
Mechanic where you can like tear pieces off the Fractones.
Oh,
At first
yes!
I thought it was like the Fractones, but it's actually anything. And then create the bridges, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like how they steal all your money, but
oh yeah, they do that. They do. No, actually what I did was, you can actually cheese that place by becoming the snake Bonanza, jumping up, and in the middle of the jump become the ostrich Bonanza and fly over.
Oh.
Then you can,
I didn't know that.
Then you can make it.
Oh no, I gave away all my money like a fool.
Oh my god. All right.
I had enough, but still. Okay, so but before we get to the big thing, I want to first give Void Kong his flowers.
Void Kong needs flowers. Void Kong needs flowers.
Void Kong, okay, so Void Kong is a very different antagonist than who ends up being the final antagonist.
Yeah, true.
Because Void Kong is a more grounded, real villain. Void Kong is like an evil capitalist who wants to ruin everything for his own greed. And that's relatable, and it's like, yeah, screw you, Void Kong, I don't like you.
Yeah, totally.
And he's very much Pauline's enemy, specifically. Like, he's not... Like, Donkey Kong's just here because he wants to help Pauline and he wants to eat bananas.
Yeah.
Like, that's his whole thing. But he's the one that's specifically antagonizing Pauline. So I like that dynamic, too.
Yeah. And then... then he comes... Then he makes his grand appearance.
Yeah, and so, like, you have the whole thing where, like, Donkey Kong gets turned into a rock and Pauline has to sing, and that's a cool moment. I really like that. But yeah, and then friggin' King K. Rool shows up and punches him out of like, and from that point just takes over the game. Like, this is now a King K. Rool game. Like, it's astounding how much he just everything just becomes about him from that exact moment.
Yes. And when you come to New Donk City, and it's like King K. Rool City.
Oh, it's so good. So, like, I loved how they did that so much. Like, okay, I'll be entirely transparent. I knew King K. Rool was going to be in the game.
Yeah, same.
I couldn't avoid looking at the spoiler thread to see, like, everyone freaking out. It's like, is he in? And so once I got that, like, yeah, so I knew he was coming.
Yeah.
But, like, it did not diminish it one bit.
Yeah. And the fact that his belly you see his belly first.
Is the root, yeah.
Is the root, and it's just like him.
That is so good. And, like, when he, like, shows up and they start playing Crocodile Cacophony as music too, and it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like music has power, and that's been cultivating it for 2 decades or 3 decades, and it's just like, that is such a good moment.
and the way it just keeps escalating, because when you come to the forbidden layer, you're like, okay, this is the core, and then you come past that, and you come to like these golden, like gigantic golden roots. And you're like, is this the core? Then you go past them in like even bigger roots. Is this the core? And then you arrive at the core, and then you meet K. Rool, and oh god, and the fight itself is just... I love the fights. I do agree with Volcanic a lot when she said about the boss fights being underwhelming, but the K. Rool fight did not disappoint, in my opinion.
I would agree with they're also the thing I said about like the Ridley fights more applies to these than I guess most. Or it is just a beat the crap out of this fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have to do the mechanic obviously to get like vulnerability or get to K. Rool, but yeah, like it's very enjoyable. I love Bus from Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, that's so
And
cool.
I also love in the Planet Core that like the Crocoids have the in them now, like they have critters and they make trembling death noise when you kill them. They make like oh, I love that. And the
Such a
birds are
cool-
the neckies. And it's just so good. Okay, so yeah, K. Rool shows up, just has all the aura. I think immediately reestablishes himself as a top tier Nintendo villain.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Like such good commanding presence and just such a good fight. And I think people are justified in equating this to the Tears of the Kingdom finale. Dead serious, dead serious. It is reaching for that.
I 100% agree. Like it is crazy hype. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than just to kind of gush about the moment.
Yeah,
So
and
had, sorry, go ahead.
And when you travel up and the banandium route itself that takes you to the surface is made up of only bananas and you have to like, jump and avoid the holes. As
was so clever.
As the route is like traveling up.
Well, it's funny because like it combined Pauline and Donkey Kong's wishes to go home and for bananas.
Yes, that's amazing.
But also, had you played through the original Donkey Kong Country?
No, I am completely devoid of Donkey Kong nostalgia, actually.
Were you at all aware of the credits fake out? Because that's like a fairly famous moment.
Oh,
That was like
I thought the credits fake out was really cool, but I did not know that it was a thing from before.
yeah, that's a nod to Donkey Kong Country 1, where basically like midway through the fight he collapses and it starts playing fake credits, but it gives
Okay.
like trembling names for all the roles, and then he gets back up to like basically sucker punch you. It's really good. So like I knew a
Yeah.
go and the stuff, but it's playing Gangplank Gal, and I was like, oh, they're. But yeah, and the remix of Gangplank Galleon through that whole sequence is just amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, so question. How far
Yeah.
into the post game have you gotten?
I have not played too much of it. I got to I basically just reached the first Elder, and he's like,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
do this thing, and then I haven't done too much else.
Okay, have you done the first Elder thing?
I haven't. Is there more crazy stuff to go?
Oh boy!
Okay, I need to do that then.
You really do too. Yeah, but I also want to respect the no spoilers for people who haven't gone through the post game. But the post game is incredible. Like, that's have been like an EPD 8 hallmark because Odyssey's post game was incredible. 3D World's post game was so amazing, and Bananza's post game does not disappoint.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for like spoiler blocking you about that.
No, it's okay,
But-
it's okay. But yeah, post game, shit.
It's funny because everyone thinks King K. Rool is the big spoiler,
Yeah.
but the real big spoiler is New Donk City.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. It's so cool. It's so cool that it just took it and made it like this like pre-final boss thing. And
It's
yeah.
I love everyone's reaction because I've watched a lot of reaction streams at this point, and people are
Okay,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, he just killed everyone." And I'm like, he probably didn't. I like my theory. I put the spoiler threads is that I think the Banandium route is basically kind of functioning like the Triforce, except it's I think it's like implied to be.
Okay.
And like I think everyone lived. But,
Yeah, that's true. And
But sorry, go ahead.
I will say about that's kind of what I was alluding to when I said that Donkey Kong Bananza is more emotional. Because when the game like is over and you're reflecting about all the fun you've been having and you have the real credit scene when you're like traveling upwards, you can control Donkey Kong in the credit scene, and then when And then when the Breaking Through, the whole entirety of Breaking Through Heart of Gold, the title song plays, I was crying so much. Like out of pure joy. I'm telling you, I was crying more to the credits of Donkey Kong Bananza than I did when Ares died.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot, actually.
Someone had asked. I'll see if I can find it. Basically, is a question about DK Bonanza's vocal theme. Where do you rank it among Nintendo's vocal themes done in the last decade? Pretty high.
Really high. Really high. Maybe not quite at the same level of Jump Up Superstar, but maybe that's because of the Jump Up Superstar context of the New Donk City Festival. But Breaking Through, really damn high.
Breaking Through is really good. I mean, I've got my own biases, so I might have Drifting Soul from Xenoblade 2 is my favorite, or one of or like the credits theme from that.
Yeah.
But no, that's fantastic. And earlier I was I think some people are going to like claim annoyance or whatever that like you kind of have the where like you the bad guy and then takes over. I have issues with that anyway. Not that it happened, but that people have issue without it. Again, it was always the villain anyway. But no, I think this game did need K. Rool.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned, Void Kong was Pauline's enemy. Donkey Kong needed his enemy.
Absolutely,
Like-
absolutely. Yeah.
Because like it's funny because you see Donkey Kong's reaction and he's like legit angry when he's and it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other final? Just like the spoiler, the fight itself. I died a few times in the fight. I thought it was a pretty difficult fight. Just the rotten banana stuff killed me like a few times.
Yeah, it took a while for me to piece together that I could because I tend to underestimate the Elephant Bonanza. The Elephant Bonanza is actually really, really OP, but I kind of like put that out of my mind. I was like, how the hell do I deal with this messy arena? But then I was like, Elephant Bonanza. And then I just steamrolled the arena with the inhale because I had the powered up inhale. So, but amazing final battle, amazing.
That is where like the all the voxels and everything kind of catches because I did get that much. That I also in the Void Kong, but
that's true.
But yeah, like it was so there was so much spectacle. It was great, and I'm genuinely glad that K. Rool's assumedly back in the conversation. We actually had one last question from Gamer64.
Okay.
Were you surprised by the presence of King K. Rool, and do you think he'll become reoccurring in K games in the future and also Mario spinoffs? And I think absolutely yes. I think he's the Pauline of this game, I guess. Ironically, like how Pauline kind of came back and after Odyssey.
Yeah, totally. King K. Rool is here to stay, and I was, I was spoiled. Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts for Donkey Kong?
No, I think we have hyped a lot about Donkey Kong, rightfully so, but no further thoughts for now.
All right, so I think this is where we'll end discussion for today. So I want to thank everyone for watching and for submitting questions. Thanks to VolcanicDynamo for her the earlier discussion. Thank you, Irene, for joining.
Thank you.
And I think that'll be all for today. So
yes.
If you want to get on the conversation for this one or next time, be sure to check out our companion thread on Famiboards.com. Leave a comment on this video. Or thank you very much, everyone. Until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.